Hi, everybody. Before we get to another great interview, we could really use your help. IMDb, which is the entertainment database, recently named the Too Opinionated podcast one of its top 100 podcasts. This is a monumental feat for this program. We're a father and son team out of a small town in West Virginia, have been doing this for about 5 years. There's 15 million podcasts out there. About 40,000 of those get to the point that they're listed on IMDb. Out of those 40,000 out of the 15 million, we were ranked number 82. Something that we're just immensely proud of. We're so thankful for our listeners, our watchers, our fans. Thank you so, so much. If you would like to help us out, and we're asking for it, please. It's easy. It's really easy. It's free. If you go to IMDb, that's imdb.com, look up Too Opinionated Podcast, and just take a look at the page. That's all you have to do. I mean, you're welcome to look at the cast, look at the episodes so you can kind of see who's been on the program. Do whatever you want. But even just bringing up the page, imdb.com, Too Opinionated Podcast, bring up the page, look at it. That helps us so much. So please, if you can do anything, we would really appreciate that. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. Love to have your subscription there. It's also free. And you can also check out our website, meistercon.com, where you'll find almost 700 episodes, audio and video, available on there. There's also a terrific blog from Brett, and it'll let you know anything that we have going on in studio, if we're covering a convention, if we're going on location, anything that we have going on will be on the website, meistercon.com. Thank you guys so, so much. We appreciate you so much. I can't express enough how appreciative we are of all of you. We never expected to do as well as we have, and that's all because of you. Thank you so much. Enjoy that interview. Bye, everybody.
Cool.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Too Opinionated. I'm so excited today. I've got actor Aiden Scott with me. So welcome, Aiden.
Hey, man. Lovely to be here.
I was telling you off camera, you were my favorite character on One Piece, and the reason, because we had Stephen John Ward came on, and he plays Mihawk, and a lot of people love that character because he's kind of dark and mysterious. I really liked him. He wasn't my favorite. Your character was my favorite, because he's such an asshole at the beginning, but by the end of it, you're like, all right, he's
kind of all right.
He's trying to improve himself.
Yeah, man. I don't know. It's so weird when people say that to me, because it's just like, it kind of takes you aback, because you join a project and you're like, there's this huge world that they're creating, so many lovely characters. And when you say something like, you're my favorite character, it just makes you want to freaking cry, because it's like, I can't believe that kind of has an impact on people, you know?
Yeah.
A bit of a dick, but a fun dick.
Well, he's got like a redemption storyline,
Yeah.
Because you can tell he just struggles with himself,
Yeah, man.
But he's slowly improving as the show goes on. So I can't wait to see where the character goes, because you can tell, at some point he's going to do something that's going to kind of redeem him a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, in the manga, he's got a really kind of, he has this huge glow up. And I remember being like, well, how does he get there? Like, how? So first of all, I need to make this guy a real dude that kind of is like a human being and not just a drawn up guy.
Right.
So how would a dickhead become so cool? Like what is the journey of that, right? And I think that was like the biggest challenge to me. But I also think the script kind of had it there, and it's like, this is amazing. You get to see how he kind of grows, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and he definitely does. Which is,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a long season. There's not that many episodes to kind of turn it around. But he's such a jerk right at the beginning. I think that helps, because anything he does has to be better.
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. But also, it's how do you make like a dick bag kind of accessible to people, and like especially for me as an actor, it's like how do I access that? And it's like, well, I was also trying to figure out where does the change for him happen through the arc, because it's not like in the script you read it and it's like Helmeppo now changes at scene 5. It's like,
Right.
shit, how am I supposed to do this? And it's like as soon as he leaves his dad, as soon as he leaves the island, it's like he has space to kind of just chill out
Yeah.
and kind of just relax and observe things. And you know, that kind of made it easier as an actor, being like, I'm not surrounded by things that make me who I am. Because I don't think he's inherently a dick. But as
That's
soon as
right.
you know, he's just got a dickhead dad. And it's like as soon
Yeah.
as he's removed from that, he can just breathe and just be a dude.
Well, that's it. And he's, I mean, you feel a little bit sorry for him early because his dad's such a jerk. And,
Yeah.
it's not like anybody treats him well with that, but he kind of finds his place, and he ends up making friends there, kind of at the end. So I'm kind of curious. So in the anime, he kind of does have that kind of glow up and becomes something. So
He
I'm
does.
curious, are
Yeah.
they going to stick with that, or next season, are we going to see him kind of fighting that a little bit, where sometimes he does something that's not too great, sometimes he does something that's kind of helpful. We're kind of curious on that.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I don't know what they're gonna do, but I'm siding with you on this. I'd love to see him kind of step back into being a little boy, but then kind of push past that and be like, what am I doing? Let me be a good dude.
Yeah. I mean, are they, is he going to be part of an improved Marine Corps? At some point, do the younger ones kind of take over and
Yeah,
things?
I have no
I mean,
idea,
I
but I
can't.
think
The anime's 1,000 episodes long, so I haven't finished those yet.
me neither, man. Me neither.
I may not finish them before I die. There's so many. They're still going, I think.
You'll be up in heaven being like,
Yeah.
where's Helmeppo?
Yeah.
There he is. Hello.
I'm 800 episodes in. I have to finish this.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah, but I think Kobe and Helmeppo are a great way to kind of explore
Yeah.
the marine side of things, and you know, I think that's a really cool opportunity for the showrunners and for everyone on board to be like, how do we get into this world of the Marines? And I think, yeah, from what I can tell, I think Kobe and Helmeppo are like a duo that you could explore that with.
Yeah, and they're both they both have their drawbacks, their insecurities, but you root for both of them, especially
Yeah,
together. I love them, kind of buddying up.
especially together, and it's weird, man. Like that. It took me a while to realize that you often see that trope in television. So I was just watching Succession the other day,
Oh,
and so good. And
yeah,
Matthew McFadden's character,
yeah,
can't remember what his name is, and then his like sidekick. I'm like, that's Kobe and Helmeppo. You have a dick that you actually like, and you have a dude that's just like bumbling, and it's like somehow they just work together.
yeah, yeah. They fit, and it's not like they're always nice to each other. They're not.
No,
They're kind of
no,
mean to each
no.
other too, but overall they kind of need each other.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm guessing that your character was the reason they had to put the nudity label on the show.
Ah, I'm never gonna live past that, am I? Yeah, man. It's like PG-16. Be careful. There's nudity, and all the fans are like, "Who's it gonna be? Oh, we can only hope. We can only hope it's that we can. Nope. You're gonna get my butt in your face. That's what you're getting.
Well, but it fit.
It fit. It works. It works.
It does work because you're like, yeah, that's probably what he'd do.
Yeah. And he probably does that every single day. I am kind of glad that they added that because it was a lot of fun to do. Not that I practiced at home or anything for 20 hours before going on set, but it was fun to do.
Did you the real question is, did you have to train once you found out you had that? Did you have to train to make sure you're ready to be on camera?
Here's the thing. Uh, so so when I got the part, I didn't know that they were going to do that. I had no idea, right? And Helmeppo is not a in the actual anime. He's not a big dude. He's scrawny,
Yeah, he's not ripped or anything. He's just kind of
right?
a little guy.
I'm quite sporty and I like working out. I'm a little strong, kinda, and I'm like, okay, you guys want to add this scene, and I know that you can't see because I've got a baggy shirt on, but I'm a little bit bigger than him. Like I look kind of strong, and I got there on the day, and and it's like, and for some reason I think again it doesn't have to be a 1-to-1. It just kind of works, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like
that's
because
true.
you,
I guess I never really thought about it, but when you watch him on the anime, he is kind of scrawny.
yeah, he's scrawny. Yeah, yeah. So that was weird, but it was fun, man. It was fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's one that you gotta you gotta have that on the resume somewhere. You know,
It's on.
that's like a bucket list item. Okay, one time I did it.
Oh yeah, man. It's front page. I mean, if anyone wants to work with me, that's the first thing they see. Do you know what I mean? You're doing Romeo and Juliet. That's fine. I can be a Romeo. Look what I did.
Yeah, look what I did. There's my butt.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh man.
Well, so let me ask you this, Aiden. What got you interested in acting? You know, that's not an easy profession, whatever country you're in. You know, what made
Yeah.
you want to become an actor?
Um. I mean, okay, so when I was a kid, I never really fit into places. So I was kind
Yeah.
of, and I experienced like a couple of like incidents of people bullying, and as a kid, I was never able to kind of find my way. I was a cool kid. I was funny, but I never really kind of got with the cool kids. Right? I was never a part of a pack. I had maybe one or two friends or whatever, and I was really bad in school. I was really really bad. Like I didn't do my homework ever. I was constantly talking in class. I'd make jokes a lot, and so schools hated me. And I was just like, ah. And my mom was like, there's a theater, there's theater people. And I was like, what are theater people? She's like, I'll take you on Thursday, and you can tell me what you think. And I ended up just going to this drama club, and my life changed from that moment. As soon as I stepped foot in there, I had my community. I kind of knew what I wanted to do, and I was so well behaved. I was so well behaved because I actively enjoyed what I was doing.
Right.
And like later in life, I figured out that I got diagnosed with ADHD, and I realized that as a kid I had ADHD but undiagnosed.
Right.
So if I found something that I liked, then I'd pursue it. And yeah, acting was for me just being on stage and being a part of a community is essentially what made me stay in the game and just wanting to do this and I've been doing it since I was 6.
I mean, that's pretty amazing and rare to figure out what you want to do at that young an age. You know, most of us
Yeah,
we say, "Well, I want to be this, I want to be that," but then we're not that.
yeah, yeah,
Life gets
yeah,
in the way.
yeah, yeah, man. I mean, I was just really lucky because I don't know what I'd be doing if I wasn't doing that. But like, just in my brain, since I was 6 years old, I was like, this is what I do. This is what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
And even if I'm bad, even if I'm mediocre, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And I guess I've just been really lucky to be able to pursue it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that's awesome. Well,
Yeah,
and you know, we've got some experience with ADHD in our family, so we're pretty
yeah,
pretty familiar with that. And one of the things that can be part of that is that if you find something that you're interested in, you're very focused,
yeah,
like
man.
overly focused on it, which can be good or bad,
It,
depending.
yeah, yeah. It can be both.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
yeah, because like you may be really good at whatever it is you're focused on, but you might ignore everything else.
that's the thing, man. And once they're locked in, they don't lock out.
Yeah.
Like I've got the most random things that I've picked up from childhood. Like I can ride a unicycle. I can juggle clubs. I can do Like, and at one stage I was like, Mom, I'm gonna join the circus. At 10 years old, I was like, I'm booking my ticket, I'm going to America, and I'm joining the circus to be a clown. I can unicycle, I can juggle, I can do everything. And like after a week, I'd just hyper focus on something else and be like, okay, I want to learn magic tricks. And I'd learn magic tricks and become so good at it and then move on to the next thing, you know?
I mean, it's helpful in that you develop a bunch of skills.
Jack of all trades.
Yeah.
Master of absolutely none of them.
Well, so when you were doing theater, I mean, do you sing? Are you musical?
I can, if you give me a song, I can try and sing it, but like I'm not a singer. But you know, I can try and sing.
Yeah, it's like if they put you in a musical, could you hold your own?
I could hold my own, man.
Okay, well, yeah, then you sing okay.
Yeah, I can sing all right.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Do you have a preference of would you rather be on a stage or, you know, in a TV show or a movie?
I don't know. I think it changes quite a lot. I think you've probably heard with a lot of actors, they kind of start out doing theater.
Yeah.
And that's something that I have always done and continue to do to this day. I started a theater company with one of my mates in South Africa just this year, and we did our first play, which was amazing. So theater's always run right by doing film and TV.
Yeah.
And I never used to like film and television, and I didn't know why. And I realized it was because I wasn't good at it. And the reason I wasn't good at it was because I was doing theater acting.
Yeah.
I'd be on camera and I'd be like, "Hello, it's me." And through learning and watching self tapes, I'm like, Aiden, just calm down. And once I started kind of calming down and moving away from a real theatrical way of performing into a kind of trying to navigate the kind of film space,
yeah,
I started really enjoying film a lot. So
well, you got to figure out the volume too, because on a theater you got to project, but you don't really need to do that if you're on a film set.
No, you don't. And I think you learn that. I think actors that come from theater aren't inherently bad at doing movies or television. I think they just need to kind of go through the process of watching a self tape and being like, that's really bad, and being like, how can I make this work for camera?
Yeah.
And I think once you're able to kind of do that, it becomes exciting. And so for me, both of them run in parallel. I enjoy both of them a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome. Did I read that you got to play Theodore Roosevelt?
I did. Yeah.
You're like a young Teddy.
I'm a young Teddy, man. That was a weird one, but it was a cool one. Yeah, that was so random. I mean, it was I don't know if you've seen the show. It was it was produced by one of DiCaprio's production companies. I think it's called The Appian Way. And they were shooting in South Africa just before COVID. So they did, I think they shot here for like 2 months. And you know that classic like documentary style where it's just like reenactment and it's like a really bad actor being like reenacting, and like John walked into the house and right before him came the knife into his throat. So I think what DiCaprio was trying to do was, okay, how can we do a documentary but make it cinematic?
Right.
So this was one of the first of those projects of his, and he did kind of the life of Theodore Roosevelt. And yeah, so I played the younger version of him, which was fun.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I haven't seen it, but I've always been kind of interested with Teddy Roosevelt. Because I've always enjoyed the history type of stuff, and he's such a fascinating character.
Oh man, yeah. I also really enjoy history. He was an avid boxer.
Yeah.
So I remember on the first day they were teaching me. We did like stunt rehearsals, and they were like, okay, so we're gonna do boxing, but it's not like modern boxing, which is super fast. Like, it's like these guys would just have their hands here and just take a hit, like, whoa, and then drop their hands. They didn't care about like defending themselves, and it was like that classic. You know that? And I was like, oh my God, they actually did that? It was amazing.
I know, it was almost like they just took turns trading punches. It's like, I'll hit you, then you hit me.
That is it, man. And whoever had the strongest hit won the game.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't want to play that game.
Nah, maybe not.
Well, you
Maybe
were
not,
in
man.
the like a thing with about Abraham Lincoln as well.
Yeah, so once they did
I was guessing
Roosevelt,
same company.
same company. So they've basically just kind of chosen South Africa as their home to
Yeah.
do these things. And so kind of every year you'd have it was Teddy Roosevelt, Lincoln, Ulysses Grant, and I think they might be doing I don't know who they're doing now, but someone pretty cool. And they're just they're cool projects.
Yeah,
They're
that's pretty
very
great.
very
You
cool.
were James Matheny, which is a pretty interesting character to play too.
Yeah. He was fun. I mean, I think for that one they just wanted kind of James to be there, and I was
Yeah,
like, cool, I'll do that because
I
I
can
knew the
be there.
director. Yeah, because I knew the director, and he was like, hey, do you want to? You're not going to really say much, but you want to be there. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, heck yeah, I want to be there.
I did see your film with Johnny Knoxville. I have seen that. So this
Oh man,
Action Point, I think, was the name of it.
that was my first one.
Really?
That was my
And I
first
didn't
movie, man.
realize when I didn't know until I was doing my research. I was like, oh yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah. That was my first movie. I was 19 years old. Again, it's not a typecast, but I was playing a dickbag. Not a
There
typecast, I
seems to be a
promise, man.
pattern.
There, there does. I'm not saying what the pattern is, but there's a pattern. Yeah, that was fun, man. Johnny Knoxville is nuts.
Yeah. Like you
He,
got to wonder sometimes with him, some of the stuff he does. I'm like, what in the world? Where would you even come up with that?
I know, man. And like for this one, I mean, you've obviously seen the film. It's a theme park, right? And so for
Yeah.
this one, they rented a farm in the inland, and they just built a fully functioning amusement park. But it looked like it was straight out of the 80s, and everything worked. You could go on a carousel. You could they'd have like cotton candy vendors. And I remember once Johnny came down this like slide and like fell, and his eye just popped out.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, cool, the film business, great. And it was nuts, man. And then on the final night of shooting, they just blew the whole thing up.
Really? They just destroyed it?
Yeah. So it was the last day of filming, last day in the film, last day of actual shooting. And they were like, hey, do you want to come around and we're going to have a barbecue and we can watch the park blow up? So I get there, 12 o'clock at night, sit down with the other actors. We have popcorn in our hands, and you just hear 3, 2, 1. And the whole thing just blows up. It was amazing.
That is kind of cool.
It was cool, man.
I mean, you think they'd have kept it just in case somebody else needed to.
A theme park.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Or just like charge people.
I was going to say, just open it up, make your money back.
Yeah. Exactly, man. Yeah.
Well, let's see. You had an appearance on The Power, which was was an interesting show.
Yeah, that so the so this the irony of life. So just as COVID was happening, people were struggling, actors were struggling, everyone was struggling, right? But I mean, there was no film, there was absolutely nothing. And I was quite young. I was like 19, 20.
Yeah.
I'd done the Johnny Knoxville film. I've done a couple of theater things, and I was just trying to find my way as an actor. And then all of a sudden, COVID happens, and it's like, geez, am I going to go into like property or something? Like, what am I going to do? No one wants actors anymore. And so that was tough. And coming out of that, they were auditioning for One Piece, and then at the same time, they were auditioning for The Power, right? But
Yeah.
being a local young actor, they weren't gonna see me for like cool parts. So the part that I played was refugee man number one, right? Right? Okay.
I mean, they could have at least given you a name.
No name.
Like
I
Ben,
asked.
the
Yeah,
refugee man number
yeah.
one.
Ben the refugee. No, I got refugee man number one. But on the same day that I got confirmed for refugee man number one, an hour later I get confirmed for Helmeppo on One Piece.
That's a pretty
And
good day.
that's a good deal, man. And I was like, oh man, just how funny is life sometimes? And I think as an actor, it's like there's no science to it. Like this is what you do. You try to make money, so you'll take anything. So I took Refugee Man #1, and at the same time, I got One Piece, and it's like, there you go.
There you go. That's usually when it happens. About the time you're kind of desperate and figuring, oh, I'm going to find something else to do. That's when something comes.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And I really wish I could tell other actors that, because yeah, I wish someone told me that as well when I was younger. Because
Yeah.
when One Piece came around, but just before One Piece came around, I was like, I was going to be like, this is hard. Like, I'm 20, 24, 25. I've done a couple of things, and I've realized that it's not sustainable. Like, you can do a film and you can live off that money for maybe 6 months. And I'm like, I've also got a whole life ahead of me. Like,
Right.
if I want to have a family, I can't just be doing theater, And just like you said, as I was about to kick it, One Piece comes along, and it's like, okay, so there is something to it. Like, you got to be kind of persistent. Make sure that you're constantly being the best version of yourself, so that when the opportunity arises, you can then meet that, and that's what it is,
I mean, it'd have to make you feel good once I'm assuming maybe you didn't know a ton about the show beforehand, but once you started looking at it and you're like, well, the anime's got like 1,100 episodes, that probably bodes well that we're going to get multiple seasons.
Yeah, man. When you put it like that, I was like, I'm like 25, and I'm like, oh yes, I don't have to worry. Hopefully not.
I'm
like,
going to talk to you when you're 45 and you're still playing the character. I'm like,
oh man,
how's it going now?
oh my gosh, man. And that happens. There are so many actors that do that. You just kind of, Law and Order, it's like, you do it, and you do it well, and you carry on doing it.
Yeah, you can retire once the show's over.
Yeah,
So I've done it for 25 years. I guess I'll just retire.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. You mentioned not knowing about the show when I was auditioning. It's so weird. So when I got an email saying, hey, Aiden, we're doing this thing, right? It's hear me out. It's about it's about a pirate, okay? And you are gonna play like a Prince Charming-esque character. And I'm looking at the email, and I'm like, okay, so this is, because they were being super secretive about it. They weren't like, this is what it is. And I'm looking at this, and I'm like, okay, so this is like a reenactment show, like a pirate reenactment show. I'm probably not even gonna, I told my agent, I'm just like, okay, I mean, I don't think I'm gonna do that. And then somehow 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I sent through a tape, and then eventually I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, didn't they had like a code name for it, didn't they?
Project Panda. So now imagine me looking at this email being like, so, hey, Project Panda, stretchy rubber kid, and you're playing this guy. I'm like, I'm not me. You know what I mean?
So that's okay.
Yeah, man.
I'm good. It's okay.
yeah, exactly.
But I mean, once you get into it, it's like doing a superhero show. Everybody in the show has some type of ability or something. So, you kind of, it's like a pirate superhero show. Not bad.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, that's not terrible.
No. And yeah. I mean, and then even going into it and being like, having seen all the kind of live action adaptations that people have done before, and signing on to the project and being like, oof, and then kind of being like, how are they going to do this? Your confidence level as an actor being like, this is a huge thing to take on. Then reading the script and being like, so I'm going to be in a blonde wig, and I'm going to say these things, and I'm like, jeez, I don't know how this is going to go down. But it went down, and it went down well. And I think once I met with like the showrunners, the directors, and the cast, I'm like, okay, this is in good hands.
Yeah. Well, and they did a good job giving it that kind of manga feel, to it in a live action show. Not easy to do, but there was parts of that, and you're like, yeah, it was, because it was kind of over the top, which is what you get. And you wouldn't expect to see that live action. You're like, that's the type of stuff you'd see in a cartoon.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that balance was, yeah, it really was very cool what they did. I remember being on set, like I was literally, I was on the first day of shooting. I was the first scene and I was the first actor to be on the set, right?
Oh
I'm
my.
25. I'm 25 and I'm sitting there and I'm like, all the Netflix executives are behind me. Everyone is like, they got the camera up and they're like, they haven't seen any footage yet. I'm the first person to do this. And I'm like, guys, if you want to see what I've been practicing at night, you will not. Because I was just going, and I'm like, this is career suicide. And I
You
get
might
up
want to
there.
go check out the buffet table, and you probably don't want to see this.
Yeah, you don't want to see what I'm about to do, because I also had no context of what other people were doing. So like I didn't know what Jeff Ward was doing with Buggy. I didn't know what Iñaki was doing with Luffy, and I was like, shit, guys, here we go. But somehow it landed, which just I was over the moon with, you know.
Yeah. Well, and it's a fun. I like the way that every episode was both self-contained in that every episode had its own villain of that
Yeah,
episode, but then it also had the overall story that continued throughout the series. I thought that was well done.
yeah. Actually, when you put it like that, that's yeah. You could watch each episode and it would make sense.
Yeah. I mean, you might miss some of you might not know the background of everybody, but you could sit and watch it and enjoy it just because
Yeah,
you're like, okay, this is the good guys and here's
yeah,
the bad guy. And
yeah,
then, every episode had that.
yeah, yeah. Exactly, man.
Yeah, I
Yeah, they
wasn't
did
too
a great
bad.
job.
They really did. I mean, the writing on it was well done. Not that they didn't have plenty of source material, but making that adaptation, that's not easy.
Yeah.
That's why most of the time when they do those adaptations, they don't work.
No, no, they don't work. But I think after kind of like Cowboy Bebop, I think people were like, okay, this is what we need to do to make this successful. You know,
I know that was one, and honestly, I thought it wasn't bad. It
I didn't
probably
think it was
deserved
bad
a
either.
second season, to see if they
Yeah,
could kind of build on it. But yeah,
I
I
thought
think
so
I
too.
think people were worried because they loved Cowboy Bebop so much, and then it only lasted a season. They're like, oh, here we go again.
Yeah, 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 exactly, man. And I think that's a lot of that had to do with kind of the fans' initial reaction to something. And I think servicing the fans should always come kind of as a priority. And if you can do that, then anything over that is a great bonus. You know?
Have you got to do a convention yet?
Not yet. No, they're only kind of starting to open up.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that'll be fun because it's a whole nother level of fandom.
yeah, man. I know Steven's been doing a couple.
Yeah, he talked about a few. I mean, they're a blast because 90% of the people you meet are terrific. They're
Yeah,
they're just very positive. They're fans. But
yeah, yeah, yeah,
in a positive way. Occasionally you get a knucklehead, but those are pretty rare. If
yeah,
you're taking 30 seconds or a minute with each fan, everybody's happy. They're like, as long
yeah,
as I get my little minute, I'll wait in line for as long as I need to. No
yeah,
problem.
man. Yeah, man. They go through the ringer, and it's I don't know. It's just amazing to see. And there are so many different fans of different things. I mean, even just behind you, like Star Wars, Star Trek, Marvel, Batman. It's amazing.
I know that's why
Rocky.
if you're nerdy, conventions are the best.
Yeah, man.
It's just even if you don't want to wait in line to meet anybody or you're not
Just
interested in
being there.
comic books or what, but just the atmosphere,
I was
it's
about to
electric.
say,
It's
yeah,
so positive. Yeah, I hope you
yeah.
get to do that soon. Hopefully, you can do that here. You do it in the
That'd
States
be
somewhere. Then we'll come see you.
oh man, that'd be amazing. Then I get to meet you in person. That'd be
That's
sick.
right. Yeah, it'd be awesome. Up until 2020, my son and I, we were doing a ton of those conventions and kind of doing the press thing, covering them
Yeah,
like that. But then 2020 hit, everything got canceled, and so we're the same way. We're just now starting to get back into it. So
yeah,
I'm ready to get out there because it's even when they started back up, you had to stand behind a screen.
yeah, man. Yeah, man. That's the thing. It feels like only now things are starting to really finally kind of open up. It was so weird. We shot the whole I didn't mention this, but we shot the whole of the series during mid-COVID.
Really? I didn't realize you shot at that. So it's
Everything.
like late 2020, early 2021, something like that.
Yeah, man. And we just had masks on the whole time, and you take them off last minute. It was nuts.
Did you have a like a COVID supervisor on set?
Yeah, we did. Tons
Yeah.
of them, man. And yeah. And like if you got too close to someone, they'd be like, "Hey," and we were like, oh, "Okay." And you'd get we were tested. Yeah, we were tested 3 times a week.
I mean, there wasn't, there wasn't any. We didn't have any
No,
romance on the set, right? I mean,
any what?
you didn't have any romance really, right? You didn't have to worry about like intimate scenes or anything.
No, except for with my teddy bear, but that was the only scene, man. So we were both tested, which is great, I think.
Well, we got to protect the bear.
Right.
Project Panda. That I don't know who came up with that name, but that's pretty hilarious because it doesn't give you anything. That could
No,
be
it gives you
anything.
nothing. Yeah, man. I was trying to work it out. I have no idea where that could come from.
Like if you told me you were doing a show about pirates with powers, I still wouldn't have figured it out. A lot
I
of people
know.
probably would have, but I wouldn't have.
No, people were just like they had no idea. I mean, I had no idea. I was like, what the heck? And I would have to tell people, like, like some of my acting friends, I'd be like, I'm working on a show called Project Panda. They're like, okay, cool guy.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Good luck with that. Yeah. Oh man.
I do like how before anybody does, a big move, they say what the move is.
That's amazing. And I'm so glad that they kept that.
I am too, because you would think that if somebody told you they were doing that, you're like, well, that's stupid. That's going to sound ridiculous. But it worked.
Yeah. Yeah, it did. And it did. And I think, again, that's just like a testament to like the overall idea of making it make it feel anime, and I think that they just nailed everything, from casting to, I mean, casting was exceptional. I think that was one of the
Really
biggest
good
things, was just
casting.
I mean, that is so cool that they managed to get those characters down so well.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about doing the voice work? You ever tried to voice a animated character?
Yeah, man. I mean, I that's if anyone's looking for a voice, I'm here. You know what I mean? Like that's my kind of thing. I love voices, accents, voices.
Oh yeah, they need to get you in that then.
Yeah, man. I'll check it out and I'll let you know.
Well, there's just so much. There's
Yeah,
so many cartoons, anime, manga, all that stuff. Yeah. If you
I
can
know,
do
man.
voices a little bit, that seems like that'd be a fit.
Yeah, man. I mean, during COVID, when nothing was happening, I literally bought a microphone, and a little sound system thing, and I set up like a home studio in my closet. I'd spend hours in there just doing stupid stuff. Yeah. So I was like, cool. I would love to move into this.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, that'd be good. Have
Yeah.
you ever thought about stepping behind the camera?
Uh, yeah. So more so not with film just yet. Theater definitely.
Oh,
Um, it's yeah. I'd love to. I love plays, and I think I have a kind of a good understanding of how they work, and how to kind of work with actors. Being an actor myself and understanding how I'd want to be spoken to.
right.
So I am looking at actually directing a play next year,
Oh, it's
which will be
exciting.
yeah, which is exciting.
Is it a play that everybody would know, or is it like an original?
It might be an original, or it might be something that people know. I don't know yet. I'm gonna have to figure it out. It's one or two options.
Will you also act in it, or is that too much?
I think that might be a bit too much. Here's the thing, right? Is like you get guys like Ben Affleck that direct and star in their own films. I've never known a theater actor to do that ever.
Yeah, I've never
Like,
heard of a theater actor doing that.
because imagine directing yourself, and I always wonder how people direct themselves. Are you like, okay, so Aiden, if you walk there, okay, yeah, no, I'll walk there now, and then take that moment. Okay, I'm going to take that moment, and then are you gonna? No, I'm just going to kind of play with it. Okay, cool, go ahead, man. Cool, I'm doing that now. How does that work?
Yeah, I always wondered that too. You'd almost have to have somebody step in to the director role while you were on set, right?
I'd imagine, man. I don't know how they do it, but yeah, I'd imagine so.
Yeah. I mean, do you just stop and cut? You know, I was
Yeah.
terrible. Let's do it again.
And then, yeah, and direct yourself. I love the idea of directing yourself.
Yeah, I kind of like it, like doing it in the third person.
Yeah.
It would be hilarious. Like if you ever
Oh man.
direct on set, you totally have to do that.
Oh man, I'd actually love to do that. And then like, oh man, that's actually such a good idea. Having an actor direct his first short film. Heck yeah.
I love that.
We
We need to make that happen.
need to make that happen.
You
I don't know
call me
how,
when
I don't
you're
know
ready.
Okay.
The Too Opinionated wants to help fund that.
Cool, man. I'll let my people know. My people talk to your people. I am just I am my own people. You are your own people.
That's it. That's it. That's what I always laugh about that because our podcasting team, we're a team of two. You got I'm the talking head, and then my son handles all the important stuff. He does the editing and the marketing and all that stuff. So
yeah.
we're not a big operation.
No, I know. It's really it's amazing.
I'm not against bringing new people on. Just haven't found anybody interested in doing that.
Oh man, I love the truthfulness. That's amazing.
Maybe some interns. Maybe I need to get some interns.
Yeah, just like surround yourself with like 10 interns.
Yeah.
It feels like it'll be a good vibe.
Honestly, you need somebody just for the social media posts.
Oh yeah, man.
It takes up so much time.
Yeah, it does. And it's also weirdly enough, it's a skill, right? Like I didn't realize how much of a skill social media is. But yeah, social media is a great way to bring someone on board.
The fun part's doing the podcast. We love doing the podcast. That's
everything else.
It's also the easy part. Yeah, everything else is what makes it hard. Getting people to actually look at it or listen to it, that's hard. Doing it, not that hard.
That's what I say about acting as well, man. It's the same thing.
Thank you for taking some time, man. I've been looking forward to this. I told you, favorite character on there. I can't wait for season 2, which I'm guessing, are we going to get that next year? It's probably not till what, 25?
No, so I mean, it's okay. So it's been announced, so that's cool. So it's happening, and maybe
this time next year, maybe something around the fall of next year, maybe.
I would say, I don't know. Probably 2020. I would say 2025.
That's what I'm saying too.
I think
that's the only drawback when you're a fan of the show is it just takes so long.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? So it's like, so now that the writers and the actors strike is finished, it's like, okay, well, people are wanting to make stuff, so they've written the scripts. I don't know, but I'm assuming, so you got the scripts and you're like, cool, let's do it. And it's like, you got to wait 6 months. You got to make sure everyone's schedules are on the same place. Then it takes like a year to film, and then it takes a year to edit.
Yeah. Which, when you explain it that way, it's no wonder it usually is like 2 years between seasons. But as a fan, that's excruciating.
Yeah, man. It is excruciating, but we got to do it.
Maybe you could start a TikTok or a YouTube channel where you're just playing your character all the time, but he's just doing normal stuff. You're like going to the coffee shop or going through a drive-through, and he's just in character, just everyday life.
Oh man, that'd be so cool.
It'd be fun.
Oh dude, that would be so cool. I've always thought about stuff like that, and I'm like, wait, I don't actually own the right to his image.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? It's like, so I'm that guy, but I don't own him.
I know. They should allow you to do parodies, though. I think
I'm gonna research that a little bit. That'll be fun.
Do that.
I'm gonna figure that out. I'm gonna talk to my people.
Yeah, talk to your people. If you need me to back you up, I'm here.
Cool, man.
You'll call me and I'll be like, I don't know what he's talking about. That's a terrible idea.
Oh don't do man, that. Get out of here. Yeah, cut.
I saw the Steven at a convention, and a fan had come up to him and said, shake my hand in character. And he did that, which was, and he kind of liked, he was like, you're welcome at the end of it. And it was funny. It was funny. I think if you were in character, but just out in public, it'd be hard.
Actually, yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
Of course, you'd also have a lot of people like, what is wrong with this guy?
I know. I know, and I want people to think that. I want that to be my like. There's something wrong with this guy. Like that's my domain. Like that's where I exist.
Not a terrible place to be. You're
Yeah, man.
mysterious.
I dig it. We'll go with mysterious.
Have you any designs on coming to America at some point, or to Canada, or are you planning to stay there in South Africa?
I'd love to, man. I the I think America is a beautiful country just in terms of like its geography. Like I really like landscapes and stuff, and I really think America is a beautiful country. And I think they make incredible work, as with Canada. So for me, the way that things work at the moment is amazing because I'm able to kind of audition for a project that's shooting in the States from all the way over here. Whereas 20 years ago, I'd have to save up some money, fly out with just the chance of maybe having an audition somewhere.
Yeah, so just take a shot.
Exactly, man. Like I can live in India and still be doing what I'm doing, which I just think is incredible. So I'd love to come to the States for a holiday and check it out. And yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah, we need to get you over here.
Nice. Will your
we're
people?
We're gonna host you right here in the studio, and you just hang out here, and then we'll go to a bunch of conventions.
Amazing, man. We'll just get your people to talk to my people, and then we can make that happen.
We got a little local theater that's like 2 doors down from where our studio is, because we're right on Main Street in this little town. So you can do like a one-man show or something while you're here.
That's so cool, man. What's the theater called?
So it's so I'm in the town of St. Albans, West Virginia, and it's just called the Alban.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and it's
that's just amazing.
It used to be one of those like one theater movie theaters back when I was a kid, so back in the 70s. And then at some point they just made it into an actual theater, so now they just do plays.
That's so cool, man. When was the last time you were there?
Oh, we're there all the time. My wife's on the board, so we're she's constantly working there, and just as more as a hobby, something to do. So we're there all the time. It's
amazing, man.
Let me think. What was the last thing? So I think the last one we saw there, it was Clue. They did Clue.
Yeah, Clue's amazing.
Was awesome. And before that, they did Our Town, and my wife painted the set, which was incredible. So she did. She painted St. Albans as the set for Our Town, which I thought that was. And then I got upset because of course they painted over it for the next show. I was like, can I just take that down? I'll take that home.
Oh man, yeah, you get touchy with things like that. That's so cool though that your wife is in the theater. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty fun for me because again, I just show up.
It's
my favorite type of work.
Yeah.
Just show up and you're basically done. You might have to talk. I'm like, I can
do I can do that. That's what I do as a living.
Well,
cool, man. Well,
a couple
I'll
of
dress
things
up as Helmeppo and do a tell me.
Yeah, a couple of things before we wrap up. One, anything else you're working on that we can keep an eye out for?
At the moment, so I might be doing a play in London next year, kind of April, May, which will be exciting. And it's called Don't Make Tea. Awesome. Very, very, very cool little play. And then
I've also like a play you do in London.
Yeah, don't make tea. Don't do it. All right, love, listen up. Don't make tea, all right? It does sound like a British play. So I've got that. In terms of other work, I mean, again, like I said, things are only starting to open up.
Yeah. We're just getting going.
So really, so I'm just trying to dip my feet into things and see what I kind of want to do, but nothing solid just yet. But yeah.
Yeah, well, so I'm assuming once you've got the next thing, you'll put that on social media. So, where can we find you on social media?
Aiden Scott 96 on Instagram.
Yeah, I found you right away. Which
easy peasy.
Because if you put in Michael Wall, about 100 of us show up. But there was several Aiden Scotts.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I thought I had a unique name. I do not.
Yeah.
Michael Wall also, you sound like the only Michael Wall in the world. There are
No,
probably
there's
200.
a ton
There's
of them.
probably 1,000. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a ton.
Yeah.
There's a ton. And I'm not sure which one's the real one. I always
Yeah.
assumed it was me. I don't know. It might not be me.
Yeah, man. It's like you're like, wait, am I? Actually, that's a good short film. You should do that and just call it Michael Wall. And it's about you trying to figure out if you are Michael Wall.
Oh, I love that. That's a
Yeah.
my son Brett that does the podcast. He was in film school and he did a short. You know, they have to make their own little short. So
Yeah.
his idea was it was a group of friends putting together a shelf, and somehow putting this shelf together, they attached it to one of the friends. Like they just it and instead of just unattaching it from him, he had to learn to live as a shelf.
Oh man, that is so good.
So it's no dialogue, so it's just a silent film. So you're watching this. So at the very end of it, the last scene, you know, one of the friends comes home and he opens up the door and walks in the house and he just tosses his keys onto the shelf and it just hits his friend that's the shelf in the chest. That's how it ends. It
Oh,
just cracked me up.
I love stuff like that. Like that's what I'm a fan of. It's just small stuff. There's just one problem. I'm a shelf. Or
Right.
like just it's a tiny thing, but I think from that you can just make such cool stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I take that back. I thought that was the end, but I think there's like an after. He did an after credit scene, and the after credit is like they've decided to throw the shelf out, so it's just him sitting with a bunch of garbage on the curb.
Oh man, that is so good. That is so good.
That's pretty good. Well, Aiden,
I
you
love
got
it,
to
man.
keep us posted. You know,
I will.
next thing you have going on, come back and tell us about it. Or if you come to a convention, you got to holler at us.
I will, brother man. And yeah, thanks for today.
Oh, this has been a blast. Yeah, hold on one second. I hope you enjoyed that, Aiden Scott. Absolutely fantastic on One Piece. Which, by the way, if you're not watching One Piece, I don't know what you're doing. It is so good. It's so good. One of the more enjoyable shows I've watched in a while. It's you know, I'm a fan. I love everything. You know, it's rare if I come on, I'll be like, yeah, that show was terrible. I can usually find something positive in a show, but I didn't have to spin this one. One Piece, really, really good. We had Stephen John Ward, who plays Mihawk, was on a week or two ago. We've got more of the cast coming. So if you're an anime fan or a One Piece fan, please keep an eye out for that. And I would also ask that you subscribe. You know, if you subscribe, you'll be notified when those episodes air. You'll get that to you. It's free. It just helps us a ton. We've had, we're going to hit 700 episodes this week, which, you know, we've been doing this 5 years in January. That's a lot of episodes. And you can find all of those audio and video on our website, meistercon.com. So check us out there. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. Please subscribe. It helps us get the amazing guests that we get. If we can go and we can say, you know, we can bring this many subscribers, you know, we're available in 82 countries. You know, we use that stuff to kind of entice people to come on the show. And of course, we've also built up relationships with publicists and agents, managers, all of that, and that helps as well. It's all tied in together. But yeah, if you want to support us, subscription is the easiest way to do it, and it's free. I'd also mention that IMDb, which is the entertainment database, recently named us a top 100 podcast. There's 15 million podcasts and counting. It's probably higher than that now. It goes up every day. To be named on a top 100 list is just unbelievable. We're so thankful. So if you want to support us that way, you can go to imdb.com and just look up the Too Opinionated podcast. It's free. Just bringing the page up, that traffic helps us out. And you can also look, it'll show everybody that's been on the show. So you can kind of see if there's, you know, if you're a fan of anybody or anybody else you would like to see. I guarantee you'll find a ton. And we really try, if there's a popular show out, we try to get multiple people from the cast, and then we'll make a playlist out of that. So we've got a bunch of that. If you're a sci-fi fan, we've got Star Trek, Foundation. If you like horror, we've got From, that was terrific on Epics, and just a ton of stuff like that. So you can kind of go down through and find what you're a fan of. We'll do a One Piece one once these interviews start coming out. We'll make a playlist for that as well. Thank you guys so much. I could talk forever. I had the best time talking with Aiden. He's so nice, and his character is so much fun because you get to see this flawed character working to improve but struggling to do so. I love it. I love it. Thank you guys so much. Till next time. Bye, everybody. Hi, everybody. I'm once again here to ask for your support. It's been a big year for the Too Opinionated podcast. Back in February, we got to live out a dream, moderate for William Shatner here in our hometown. In May, we passed 100,000 downloads on our YouTube channel, and we followed that up in June with 50,000 downloads on the audio side. We recently posted our 600th episode, which is pretty good volume for just a father and son operation. Not too many podcasts can keep that volume up. We've been doing this now for 4.5 years, 600 plus episodes. We recently hit 1,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel, which is a really big deal for us because we've always gotten the views, but have struggled to get people to subscribe. So that 1,000 was a big deal for us. And best of all, we were recently named one of the top podcasts on IMDb, which is the entertainment database. Those that are ahead of us, we came in at number 82. Those that are ahead of us are bigger companies like Disney, mostly Marvel, and Joe Rogan, that type of podcast. So for us, being just a small West Virginia father and son podcast, to be in the top 100 out of 15 million, it's a pretty big deal for us. So thank you for everything you've done for us so far. Got a couple little ways, though, that you can help us, and they're free, and they're really easy. If you haven't checked out our YouTube channel yet, please go to YouTube. It's under MeisterCon Pod. Just hit subscribe. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything. Really helps us a ton. And maybe even more important, if you could go to IMDb, imdb.com, look up the Too Opinionated podcast, and just look around the page. Just having that traffic on the page really helps us out. So that's a couple easy ways that you can support us, even if you're not listening or watching all of the time. And we want you to listen and watch, because I think that our guest list, I would put up against anybody, any other show, podcast, anybody out there. I think our guest list holds up. So please check us out. You probably will find somebody that you like, or maybe somebody that you didn't know you liked, but kind of discovered them on there. There's tons of that. If you're into music, we have that too. If you like books, we've got authors on there. If you're more into what goes on behind the scenes in the entertainment world, we've got producers, directors, video artists, anything you can think of that happens behind the scenes, we've had them on the show. So definitely check us out. Thank you guys so much. Until next time. Bye, everybody.